I had no idea the British press was so bigoted.
This One's Wife, Archie, treading on eggshells. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. There are those that believe that this one's wife doesn't have any children, that the individuals that are spoken about and occasionally appear in pictures and video snippets are actually actors that are brought in to play the roles of the children, that they're actually somebody else's children. There are others that accept that the children do exist, but firmly believe that this one's wife faked her pregnancies and the children were born from surrogacy. Thirdly, there are those that state that they are her children, she carried them and she gave birth to them. It remains an aspect of this one's wife which provokes some very strong opinions, some interesting theories, and results in considerable disagreement. Furthermore, the children are rarely seen. Occasionally there is a back of a head or a distant photograph of them, which often looks rather suspect in respect of how it's been generated. More recently, they've been popping into little video snippets as this one's wife triangulates her audience with them. There'll be those that suggest that you don't see them because she doesn't want them seen because they've not turned out the way that she wants, or that there will be too obvious differences so that people will know that they're not her children. Others argue that in actual fact it's all about protecting the children from the glare of publicity, particularly in light of what Harry experienced as a child. You will have your own views, but the fact is that there are intermittent instances of the children that are seen in video and in photographs, which suggests that somebody exists, but, as I've explained previously, the reason that they are not seen more often and don't attend things with this one's wife and Harry is twofold. First of all, she's not particularly maternal and would struggle to control them. This would be apparent and, in the circumstances, threaten her overarching need for control. Hence, this is why her and Harry attend various events which the children will probably enjoy, but they never go with them. They are kept away from those events, away from the public, and away from most of their family. The second reason is that naturally, as a narcissist, this one's wife does not want to be outshone by her children. It has to be all about her, and she cannot stand for the focus to be on them. Her narcissism tells her, you're keeping them out of the limelight to protect them, but the real reason is to ensure that she is the one that is seen and she is not usurped with regard to attention, which is fuel for her. The environment in which those children live, has to be said, is an unusual one. It's privileged. They live in a large house, there is money, they have what appears to be a large garden in which to play, but they are never seen out and about. Neighbours report not seeing children. We only get what's fed by this one's wife, once again controlling the narrative. We know that they have nothing to do with the royal family, that they have nothing to do with their grandfather, their step-grandmother, uncles and aunties and cousins, individuals that they've either never met or have met briefly and certainly don't have any regular interaction with them. For two young children, that is a rather sorry state of affairs. Furthermore, they've not met their grandfather on the Markle side. They've not met the half-uncle and half-auntie. They haven't met the wider Markle family. Thus, they live in splendid isolation, which, of course, does not bode well for them, because having themselves shielded in this manner, having this gilded environment, being kept away from people, not really experiencing life in the way that many people would, could denote a lack of control environment. Furthermore, with the parent who is a narcissist, there is a chance that the genetic predisposition towards narcissism would be passed on. So they are both at risk of becoming narcissists. But what is particularly noteworthy is that it would appear that Archie is showing signs of being mindful of the way that his mother behaves. How do we know this? Well, it is something that can be taken from the recent clip that this one's wife shared on her Instagram. Let's play the clip again.
Only if you want me.
This is from when this one's wife is showing off her gardening knowledge by watering plants under the glare of the sun, something which even I know, as someone who's not particularly interested in gardening, knows about, that you ought to be doing it first thing in the morning or when the sun has set in the evening. But after all, she's always been a gardener, you know, so she knows all about these things. It's a little bit difficult to hear given the noise of the water and background noise. The Daily Mail reports it as Archie saying, "Mummy, I can do it if you want me to," with this one's wife responding, "Only if you want." I don't think that's accurate, because the "only if you want" is clearly said by a younger voice. And therefore, I think this one's wife asks Archie, "Do you want to do it?" And then Archie responds, "Only if you want." Now, this is only a short exchange, and therefore one can't make a determinative observation in relation to it, but rather an indicative one. It might be argued that this is a polite young boy who's responding with "only if you want." It's a possibility, and we need to be balanced about these things. But ordinarily, most children will probably be going, "Can I have a go? Can I have a go? Please, Mum, let me have a go." They'll be nagging a bit. "Do you want to have a go?" "Oh, yes, please," comes the response. "Yeah," is the enthusiastic response. And yet Archie's response is, "Only if you want." Now, as I've said, you can't make a determination from this short exchange, but it is indicative of an individual who perhaps is already learning that it is always best to seek the permission of his mother. That the enthusiasm for a task that most children would enjoy, helping a parent out in the garden and water invariably is fun for children, is replaced by him knowing that it's only best to do it if Mummy wants you to do it, i.e., he's already falling in with the necessity of the narcissist's need for control. If this is correct, this is quite tragic, and already this young boy is treading on eggshells around his mother. This is not an instinctive response by him, it's something that he will have learned. Like many of you who are victims of narcissists, you will know that experience of treading on eggshells around the narcissist, of walking through that minefield blindfolded. The slightest thing could set the narcissist off, and you invariably, until you came across my work, didn't realise what it was that caused the narcissist to erupt. Particularly those of you who are adult children of narcissists, you'll be able to recall when you experienced that situation as a child. You didn't know whether you were coming or going, you didn't know what behaviour to expect, and it was always best to try and remain quiet, to remain out of the way, to avoid attracting the attention, because it meant that you could then find yourself on the receiving end of a scathing comment, a clip around the back of the head, or even worse, the belt would be utilised against you. In other instances, you'd be met with a silent treatment, unable to understand what it is that you'd done that upset the parent. But what you started to learn was it was always best to make sure they were agreeable to what you were doing. You were treading on the eggshells, you needed to demonstrate compliance, and you needed to seek permission. Here, it seems as if Archie is behaving in the same way, that he knows that it is wiser to ask his mother's permission, that he will only do something if she wants him to, that already he is that extension of this one's wife, being controlled by her, being instructed by her, and at such a young age he already understands that it is better to go along with what his mother wants, because he's learned to his cost previously the consequences of not doing so. What do you think in relation to this? Do you think it's just a simple exchange of a polite young boy and no more of that? Or do you think this is an individual who is already being conditioned to the behaviour of a narcissist, knowing that it is wiser to check what she wants before doing anything? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.